How's it going, everybody? I've got some news for you today. We've got Genadi and Devon still going at it, building hype for their upcoming match. We've got potential future opponents for Auden Arm, possibly in North America or India. And then we've got more matches announced for the East vs. West 16 card. We've got Oleg versus Belal for the left arm 95 kg title. And then we've also got Daniel Prokopchuk versus Oleg for the 85 kilogram world title on the left arm. So first up, we've got Genadi. He uploaded a video where he's talking to Devon. He said, "I beat you the first time. Despite my injury, I will win again. And when I do, I want you to make a video saying that I am the superior arm wrestler." So I think he kind of feels like Devon didn't really accept the loss last time. He feels like Devon kind of made excuses. Oh, I was kind of playing around, messing around, and I didn't just go for the win. And he wants to solidify the fact that he is a better arm wrestler than Devon. So he's calling him out. Hey, when I beat you, I want to know from your mouth that I am the superior arm wrestler. So this is good. This is poking the bear from Genadi. I like it. But Devon responded. He said, "You're going to need to do better than last time. I am not coming for victory. I want submission. I want to make you quit." Now, this is what got Devon in trouble last time. He wanted to bleed Genadi out. He wanted to make him quit, and Genadi got back into the match and beat him. This is probably not the strategy that Devon wants to go for. But he's going to do it anyway. And you know, this goes into the whole ego thing that Genadi was talking about. Devon's got an ego. He wants to put on a show, and he might get burned again if he goes that route. But I love it. I want to see this. I still have Devon as the favorite, but man, if he goes for the bleed, if he just tries to make Genadi quit, Genadi's not going to quit. The Georgians don't quit, and I think that might be the downfall of Devon in this match if he does end up losing. All right, next we've got more matches that have been announced on the East vs. West 16 card, and they are good. So first up, we've got Oleg versus Belal for the left arm 95 kg title. Let's talk about Oleg first. Oleg, in his match with Auden Arm, he was hanging in there in round one with Auden in a hook. And Auden actually ended up fouling out because Oleg was going to beat him. That to me speaks volumes about Oleg's strength and his overall horsepower. To hang in there with Auden in a hook, not a lot of guys are doing that. The only guy that I've seen do that recently was Ivan Matyushenko, and that guy is an elite hook puller. But on the side of Belal, he just beat Oleg, and other than the first round, he did it pretty convincingly. And man, Belal can just hold in that break arm position. It is so impressive. It's sometimes kind of hard to watch because you just think, how in the world has your arm not broken from doing this? But man, he must just have tendons of steel. But on the same token, Oleg has not been the same. Oleg he hasn't been the same since his comeback. I mean, he used to be giving Devon trouble on the left arm. Not anymore. He hasn't been the same, but he is still good. I mean, he took Belal's hand round one. Belal just held, though. He just can hold in that position. And I think if Oleg had a press, he probably could have pinned Belal if he could stand up and press. But I don't think I've ever seen Oleg press. He just goes for the hand control, which is obviously the strategy, considering he's got that mutant hand. Man, this match it's 50-50. I want to pick Oleg because of the overall just horsepower advantage, the fact that he can hang in there with the best guys on left arm in the hook. But then you've got Belal. He's on a run right now. He just can't lose. He's got momentum, and he's a Georgian. He's got that Georgian persistence. They never give up. They just win. So Yeah, if I had to lean one way, I have to lean towards Belal just because of the the momentum, just how good he's been looking lately, and just the fact that he's Georgian. These guys just don't lose. All right, the next match we have is Oleg, he's back, versus Daniel Prokopchuk. Now, I didn't actually know this, but Oleg moved up in weight to fight Betkili, so he'll be moving back down to 85 kg, and I believe Daniel's going to be moving up. So Daniel, pretty small guy, but incredibly strong for his size. Just stupid strong. That being said, I think this is a win for Oleg. I don't think Daniel can hold in that break arm position like Betkili can. And I don't think Oleg is going to lose all that much strength by moving back down in weight. I think it's Oleg's match to win. But Daniel, you can never count him out. He's really, really good. And I wouldn't be surprised if he can hold in that break arm position just as well as Betkili. So we'll see. I think for this one, I have to lean towards Oleg, though. He's just going to take that hand, and I think he's going to be able to get it done. He almost pinned Betkili, but he just wasn't quite able to. I think he's going to be able to get the pin, multiple pins on Daniel and win that match. But nonetheless, it's going to be really good, and I'm excited. So all these matches, every time they get announced, man, this card is just looking better and better. All right, last up, we've got potential next opponents for everybody's favorite Larratt child, Auden Larratt. So on the fix, Devon was talking about possible next opponents for his son, and Neil guessed, for North America, he guessed Artem Taranenko, and Devon said, good guess. Now, I don't think Artem is the possible opponent in North America. I think Artem would be way too much for Auden right now. If you remember, just last year, Artem destroyed Coach Ray at the Arizona State Championship. So I just think at this point, Artem is way too much for Auden. Now, the other possible opponent has been speculated to be Abbas Rana from India. Now, I've seen a pulling video that he did with Ryan Bowen, and it looks like he's primarily a hook puller. I looked at some of his tournament matches. Generally, it looks like he pulls in the hook. Very strong. And he made a video with Ryan Bowen where they're just doing some practice pulling, and Ryan, you know how Ryan kind of has that, he's got somewhat of a king's move. I don't know if I'd call it an open top roll or not, because it's kind of palm up almost. So it's almost like a king's hook. It's very weird, but it didn't look to me like Abbas really knew what to do. He kind of would go for the pin slightly, and then his wrist would go just a little bit, and it was almost like he was confused by Ryan's technique, and he wasn't really able to figure out how to get through it. And I think that would be bad news for him if he went up against Auden. Auden's got a pretty good open top roll. I mean, that's generally how he beats guys, is by just a strict top roll or an open top roll. And I think if Ryan, I think Ryan Bowen is probably quite a bit better than Auden at this point. But just to see that, it certainly doesn't inspire confidence for the side of Abbas. So I do think Auden probably would win this matchup. The other point being that Devon is going to pick opponents for Auden very carefully. Auden is huge in arm wrestling already. His match with the Arm Wrestling Whisperer has over 1 million views on YouTube, which for arm wrestling is pretty crazy. I mean, only Devon, Larratt, Hermes, only the top guys are getting millions of views. Now, granted, that match was with the Arm Wrestling Whisperer, but make no mistake, Auden is the next big thing in arm wrestling. So Devon is going to be very careful who he picks for Auden to fight against, and I think Abbas would be a fun match. I mean, we would at least get to see Auden pull an actual arm wrestler. I don't mind the gimmick matches too much, but I think it is time for Auden to kind of step into the ring with some legit arm wrestlers. I think we all want to see that, and I think he's ready. He's very good. Let's not forget, he is training with the number 2 overall ranked arm wrestler in the world. So I think it's time that we see some legit arm wrestling out of Auden, and I think it'd be good for him just to get that experience. He's already huge in the sport. So I almost forgot to bring this up, so I'll do it lastly here. The Natty Bros did an interview with Auden Larrett and David Lade, and one of the questions that got asked I take great interest in, and that is, how can we promote arm wrestling? How can we make it more watchable, more accessible to the general, audience for sports? And Auden said, okay, first off, we gotta just go right to the ref's grip. And I agree with this. I don't think we need to spend 30 seconds every round having the pullers try to get a grip, and then they can't agree on a grip anyway, so we go to ref's grip, and we've just wasted, 30 seconds to a minute. So I agree with this. Go straight to ref's grip. And then Auden said every foul should be a running foul. I also like this. I really like this because we see fouls being utilized far too often when a puller is losing and they just foul to get a reset. If fouls were running, they actually have to dig themselves out of that position and win the match to get a reset. And I feel like we have seen matches in the past, just like I was talking about Oleg versus Alijan Mortov. Oleg, I think, would have won round 1 if Alijan didn't elbow foul. And it's stuff like that just, I feel like it kind of ruins matches sometimes when a guy's, Hermes versus Levon. Would Hermes have gotten a pin on Levon if Levon didn't foul? I think he would have. So I would very much like to see running fouls rather than fouls going to a reset, because in those instances, the foul always benefits the person committing the foul. That should not be the case. Auden then went on to talk about some of his goals in arm wrestling. Eventually, he wants to be number 1 in open or category pulling, and someday he would like to pull John Brzenk. I'm not sure when he wants to pull John. John is still very good, so I would say probably not for a couple of years. But who knows how much longer John's going to be in the sport, so he might want to do it sooner than later. But anyways, guys, that's all the news I've got for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.